out this morning regarding Spurs' targets from Alistair Gold was to suggest that Tottenham are confident they will have the funds to carry out their transfer plans. Frank is prioritising both an attacking playmaker and a centre-back with good level experience. So, like I said, Spurs are apparently prioritising that number 10 and that role to make that happen for this transfer window. But I don't know if you heard, there was some news regarding that Enzo Milo yesterday. I don't know if he obviously got his confirmation that he's going to Al Ahly. Apparently, Spurs had a verbal agreement or verbal offer accepted, but didn't proceed with, the paperwork and everything to get the deal done for the release clause as to why that didn't happen. The number 10 is a huge issue for Spurs. And like you've said, I think we need not just one attacking playmaker, we need two attacking playmakers. One that can operate off the wing, one that can operate in the middle. Now, if we get a player that can play multiple roles, then that's fine, but still need multiple players in that 10 position. If we had a Gibbs-White type player and then another 10, it would have been fine because you've got players that can play multiple roles.
I think we need one. I only think we need one because you've got to factor in that you will have Kulu back and Maddison at some point. So what I don't think the club are going to do is go and buy two. Then you've got four. And that's how quickly football changes. Listen, I think you can get away with one at the moment, knowing that Kudus could potentially play in there. But I think it all depends what else you buy. There's no point. There's no point going to buy a number 10 if you don't go and buy a proper winger and a forward, in my opinion. I think most clubs have a number 10 and they've got a quick, nippy striker that can get onto through balls. Like when Maddison was at Leicester City, he had Vardy. Every time he looked up, where's Vardy? Where's Jamie? He doesn't have that with Richie and Solanke. They're not that type of footballer. So for me, I put up a team on my stream earlier, Jords, right? And I said, can you imagine this, right? And we're not a million miles away from this. And my team that I put up was, I don't know, actually, can you share your screen?
Yeah. Can you share it?
Let's see if, have you got that?
Yeah.
So I did that, right? And I said, imagine, right, what it would take to get this team done. Well, the back seven are already there, right? So you've got Vicario Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Spence, Bentancur, Paulinho are already there. So is Kudus. So 8 of that 11 is at the football club. Now imagine you went like Grealish is a loan to save money.
Yeah.
Eze is your big signing. Eze is the one where you go out and we all go, oh, bloody hell. Thanks, Levy. Thanks, Daniel. Daniel Coys.
Well, technically, that's the Morgan Gibbs White money. It's the Morgan Gibbs White money, really. So
there we go. Right. And then you go and get Wissa, who's going to be what? I reckon 40 million, who's the quick striker. Now, if you put that 11 out, right, we're talking 110 million pound in transfer fees, right?
Oh, that's cheap, yeah.
Now have a look at that. I'm not asking Spurs to go to the best clubs in the world and take their players. Grealish isn't a peak player at Man City. So I'm asking Spurs to go to Brentford and take a player, Palace and take a player that's not wanted at Man City, right? 1 on loan, 2 signings. Look at that team, right? Now, that team is a lovely team. And behind that, then I want Frank to be coaching Odegaard and Tell and Johnson for when they come in. Right? Solanke can rotate with Wissa depending on whether we need a quick striker or we need a big striker. You've then got Gray, Bergvall, Sarr all coming in behind Bentancur and Paulinho and being coached. You've then got Udogie, Danso, Vuskovic, Takai. Now, all of a sudden, if I see that, I'm going, I am completely comfortable with Tottenham.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I'm not
I'll be honest. When I'm looking at this, it looks very realistic. And you're already selling me on this Grealish stuff now because I'm like, oh, yeah, no, if you do get Grealish for the left, there's no reason why Spurs can't invest loads of money into an Eze deal because now you don't need 2 10s. You don't need to sign another left winger for the season because you've got one on loan. And although let's just say Grealish does get injured, Eze can operate off the left as well. You've got a player that can play on the wings if need be in certain scenarios, but he will be the main number 10. Looking at this lineup, and that's a Champions League ready team. Our team isn't ready for Champions League right now when I look at 11, but that team is ready for Champions League. That's ready.
But what you've also got, Jords, if you look at that entire front four, right? Grealish can play centrally and on the left. Kudus can play on the right, on the left, and centrally. Eze can play on the left and centrally. Wissa can play up top and on the right and on the left. right? Options. You've got options. Now imagine you're an opposition defence to Tottenham this season and you see that front four coming at you. Yeah, now compare it to Solanke, Johnson, Tell, like it levels. And I'm not asking the world. I'm not asking Spurs to go and sign world-class footballers, Galacticos. I just don't know how we can be so close, but so far away at the same time.
I feel like that's like the world of Spurs, and it's what was that thing, that quote that I see in that Levy interview? It was like mess, like in chaos, something, there's success or something like that. But it's like Spurs need some type of chaos in order to get us into a better place. And I feel like at this moment in time, it's like we needed a little bit of a mess in our transfer window to then end up with the likes of maybe a Grealish and Eze or Vissa. But we need to make moves. We need to make moves on these players. And that's where the problem lies, is because right now, especially with this Sesko stuff, whilst that's lingering, Newcastle don't know whether they still want Vissa. Vissa's handed in his transfer request. He's made it very clear he wants to go to a Champions League team. This is when you go in and you snatch that deal whilst nobody's in for him. Nobody's actually put in a concrete offer. It's like,
this is what I mean. Right now, for a club like Tottenham Hotspur, if Newcastle United and Man United can be in a bidding war for a player double the price of Wissa, how can Tottenham not go and take Wissa from underneath the noses and go, well, listen, while you were doing that, we've done this. I'm just a bit. Listen, I know everyone thinks I'm always negative. I'm not, Jords. I just want better footballers.
Yeah,
I want better footballers. That's all it is. And I look at the forwards we've got, and I think to myself, are they scaring as a whole? I think Kudus is good, but are they scaring opposition defenses? And I think if I'm a decent fullback or a decent centre half, I'm comfortable playing against Tell, Odegaard, Solanke, Richie, Johnson. I'm quite comfortable with it. But I don't want that. I don't want the pace of Wissa. I don't want the pace of Kudus. I don't want the trickery of Eze. Now imagine Eze and Grealish linking up together. The passing, the movement, the sliding through balls in. I just think that would be lovely.
Yeah, no, it definitely would be. And when you talk about those players all combining together, like it generally, like it gives you a little bit of a fresh lease of life for as a Spurs fan. It's like, oh shit, yeah. This is what it means. Like, this is how it's supposed to be, you know? Have some actual technical ballers in those forward positions. And when you mentioned, you know, the likes of, you know, the Tells and the Odegaard stuff, it's like people don't realize you're not saying, and I suppose I'm not saying, is that these players aren't good. I think a lot of them are good. And Tell, Odegaard, Bergvall, all these younger players, in time, could become great players. But the problem is for Spurs right now is when you make that your focal point, that is your, you know, go-to option. Right now is just Tell and Odegaard off the left wings. If we just have those two to play off the left wing, you can't rely on either of those to get you through a season. No, so when one of them isn't performing and then the other's not performing, it's like, oh, where's the superstar power? Where's the goals going to come from? We don't know where the goals are going to come from because we don't have goal scorers, and Spurs need to sign players of those types. But other players